Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. You might have noticed that there seem to be different backgrounds in every single video. Thing is, I'm quite new to this, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to position the camera, the best room to be in, because our house isn't the biggest, so I've gone around different little areas. This is my room, so I'm hoping that this is quite good. I've tried to tinker about with the lighting and stuff like that. I've got a lamp behind me, and then one over there as well. So I'm just trying to figure things out, see what works, what doesn't. Hopefully, this is a little bit better than what is before. I've tried to watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to do the lighting, but anyway, hope it's better. But today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Boxer because they are apparently announcing a new pay-per-view sort of broadcaster, in addition to their sort of broadcast partnership with the BBC. Now, I think I think it was something that was to be expected, and I do think maybe that they might end up being on Dazn. Um, Firstly, because the BBC doesn't really have that much of a budget to sort of host the likes of Chris Eubank Jr. on that platform. I mean, it would be great if Eubank was on the BBC, and sort of emulate what his father had done with Nigel Benn, and maybe sort of continue that legacy. But times have changed, and the BBC ultimately can't compete with the likes of DAZN. Upon which, I mean, I was reading today, and their financials are pretty bad. Apparently, I was watching a podcast, and apparently Len Blavatnik, who's the billionaire owner of that platform, has invested in the region of $7 billion. He's just pumped it in, and it continues to lose money every month. Every year. I think in their latest financial reportings and accounts, it said that they've lost 500 million, which is like 700 million less than it was the year before. So they are in deep, and it's worth noting as well that the Saudis are in. They have a 10% stake in that platform as well. So I guess the overall point I'm trying to make is that sports rights are very expensive. And the zone are sort of finding that out because they're trying to renege on contracts that they've done with the likes of the Belgian Football League, for example, and with Ligue 1, which is the French league. Apparently, they're trying to break a 400 million euro a year contract 1 year in. I think they signed a 5 year contract. So, sports rights are expensive, and the zone are sort of finding that out. Um, but with Boxer, they're gonna need to find a broadcaster if they are going to compete with the likes of Matchroom and Queensbury, and they just can't do that with the BBC. I mean, I've said it in previous videos. I think the fights that they've done, sort of currently, have been really good, and I think they've done quite well to sort of capture that casual fan who might be tuning in on a Saturday night after watching their show. So far you've had the likes of Fraser Clark, Jamie TKV. That was a great fight, a great advert for heavyweight boxing to the British public. You then had just recently Troy Williamson against Callum Simpson. Again, another great fight. Callum Simpson down 3-4 times before the ref waved it off in the 10th. So action packed in both on both occasions. And so, but I guess if they are going to sign more talent, I mean, they've just signed the likes of Gradis Kraus, and if they are gonna want to attract that upcoming person, I guess the best way to put it is that if they are gonna attract a Ben Whittaker-esque star, they're gonna need a backer, a funder that is gonna fund them a lot more than what the BBC are, because BBC are a big platform, and books are just a small fish in that. So they're gonna need to find a way of operating on multiple broadcasters. They also did sign that deal with Riyadh Season, as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. I guess it means that they are going to be involved in those Ring Magazine cards. You've seen the likes of Adam Azim on that card as well. So Ben Shalom is trying to find a way to make himself viable. But I guess it just touches upon the video I did yesterday that are promoters going to have to find a way to to sort of, or maybe our broadcasters gonna have to find a way to try and change the way boxing is sort of portrayed, and live sport is portrayed to the masses. And what I mean by that is you have these entities now like IV Boxing, I think it is, who are we're trying to walk away from Dazn, Sky Sports, TNT, all these broadcasters that are charging a lot of money, and there's multiple of them to sports fans, sort of taking advantage of sports fans and their passion. So, I guess it leads on to the point that the way it's headed is that we're going to see more broadcasters on bigger platforms like YouTube. Apparently, YouTube has 2.7 billion streams monthly. That's crazy. That's way more than Netflix, Amazon Prime, Sky, DAZN, TNT, probably all put together. They don't reach 2.7 billion. So, yeah, I mean, interesting times. But I do probably think the BBC will, DAZN might pick up those rights, or might be someone else. We'll just have to wait and see. But I guess it is needed to compete with Matchroom and Queensbury. That's the overall point I think I was trying to make. Golden Boy are in a bit of trouble as well. One of their fighters, I think, is Virgil Ortiz, is not happy with Oscar De La Hoya, and is now trying to sue against the promoter, and is not happy as they look to sort of get that fight on with Jaron Boots Ennis. I think they hired the same attorney as Canelo did, so I guess there are structural problems with Golden Boy, and just linking it all back to what we were talking about previously, I think their contract with DAZN is coming to an end, and it doesn't look like that's being renewed. So from the things that I've been reading and the people I've been watching, it seems like they are sort of DAZN are a bit wary of the people that they're going to partner with going forward, and are going to maybe cut back on the sports rights front, and see who and sort of really cherry pick as to who they partner going forward, which is probably understandable considering they owe a lot of money. They're in a lot of debt, and they need to fix up. But moving on, the final thing I want to talk about is Jaya Pattaya, because he signed with Zuffa Boxing. Now this was maybe something that took a lot of people by surprise, because Jai Pattaya was co-promoted by Matchroom Boxing and Tasman Sport out in Australia. I think it looks like their deal has come to a close. It's quite disappointing because Jai Pattaya is a feared cruiserweight. I mean, you don't want to get in the ring with him. In his last fight, he broke someone's jaw. And Jai Pattaya is a bit of a strange story, right? Because he has the talent, he has the ability, but we just don't see him in with the likes of Zerdo Ramirez. I think he was touted to fight Chris Smith. So there's a lot of fights out there for him, and a lot of silverware he can win. Now, the reason why it's surprising is because, as we mentioned previously on the show, Zuffa Boxing are trying to move away from. They've made it abundantly clear that they don't want to work with these other promoters, and they don't believe in the governing and sanctioning bodies. They don't believe in WBC, IBF, etc. They want to go down the Ring Magazine belt and have one belt per sort of weight category, which contradicts seemingly what Jai Pattaya wants to achieve in the sport. He's openly said that he wants to work with, that he wants to unify the division. So unless Zuffa Boxing have had a change of heart, and maybe Dana White has maybe realised the intricacies and the complexities involved in boxing, given his first foray in the sport is at the Apex Arena, despite having over a year to sort of figure it out. Maybe he's coming to terms with the fact that this isn't like the UFC. He doesn't control it like the UFC, and that he's going to have to work with these promoters going forward. But I guess that's just something we're going to wait and see. They have announced recently the signings of Charles Martin. Charles Martin is the guy who had the shortest, I think it was WBO reign, before losing to Anthony Joshua. I think he held that title for only 85 days before succumbing to defeat to Joshua. They signed him. F.A. Jagba, Jayo Pataya. So it seems again that they've shifted away from their strategy of maybe only signing fighters that up and coming young nurturing talents, because maybe they've sort of found that they can't really attract that sort of person, and that sort of person does not go there. So yeah, interesting times. There's been a lot of there seems to be news stories coming out every day, so it's given me something to talk about every day so far. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I should have said that at the start. But yeah, thank you, and enjoy your evening.